So we left off in the middle of 13.2 last time, and we had talked about some credit card stuff, right? That was where we were ending things. You had written down some pieces of information, I believe, here at the end about loans, right? So revolving loans, about itemized billing, about finance charges, and average daily balance method. Am I remembering right? That's where we were? Okay, so we're going to actually take a look at an example. This is the credit card account. We're going to assume 1 month between billing dates, which is pretty typical. So the appropriate number of days for whatever month we're in. So sometimes you have to pause and ask yourself, are we dealing with a 31 month, a 30 month, right? That kind of stuff, that's fine. And then we're going to find A, the average daily balance, B, the monthly finance charge, and C, the account balance for the next billing cycle, or for the next billing, excuse me. So this is our scenario. This is what we have. So we started with a previous balance. So we left on the card, or this person left on their card, that they owed $728.36. Okay? So going into the month, that's how much they owed on previous things that they purchased on their credit card. May 9th is the billing date. And then on May 17th, they make a payment of $200. On May 30th, they go to dinner, spend $46.11. On June 3rd, they buy theater tickets for $64.50. And we're going to take a look at how we figure out the 3 pieces of information above: average daily balance, monthly finance charge, and the account balance for the next billing cycle. Okay, so as we do this, what we're going to do is we're going to create a chart. So that's why yours is kind of written in a longer form. I don't have the space on that one slide to do it, so I'll be doing it over here. So we have our previous balance. So I'm going to write in the pieces that you have already on your chart. So we have our previous balance up here. And it's $728.36. And then we have some items below that are on my previous slide, but not in a kind of a grid form. On May 9th, we have our billing date. All right, that's when it closes, the billing closes. On May 17th, we pay $200. On May 30th, we charge for dinner $46.11. And then on June 3rd, we cross over the month, right? June 3rd, we have theater tickets, and those are $64.50. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up some columns. The next column is going to be our running balance. So this is kind of like what happens if you ever check in online with like your banking, right? If you go into your banking, it will tell you at any given point what's cleared and not what hasn't. It will show you what's cleared, whether it's deposits or it's withdrawals, and it'll tell you what the current balance is in your account, right? You can do this with a credit card statement as well. So this is our running balance column. Our next column is going to be the number of days, and this is how you're going to always set them up. The titles are going to be the same every time. This is the number of days till the balance changes. So for example, if you take a look between May 30th and June 3rd, there's a certain number of days that it's going to sit steady before we've made our next charge for the theater tickets, right? That's what that's talking about, the number of days until we have the next thing that we've paid for. And then our last one is an interesting column, and it'll feel kind of funny when we do it, but that's okay. We need it. This is going to be our balance times the number of days. So it's just the multiplication of the previous 2 columns. And we'll see why we're doing that in a minute. So all these pieces of information are going to help us answer these 3 questions. So to start with, we have our running balance that we begin, our cycle with, which is the $728.36. So that's going in our first blank. And from that date, May 9th to May 17th, how many days are going to pass where we're going to sit at that 728 amount? 8 days. Yeah, here he's right. So it's going to be 8 days right here. Okay, good so far? And in our last column, we're just going to multiply them together. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Let's multiply 8 times the 728.36. Again, it's going to be a large number. It's going to feel a little bit funny to have it here, but that's okay. I'll try to move that over was a little bit more space. Somebody tell me what you have when you get there.
5,826.88.
Thank you, Colton. All right, everybody good with that? That last column is just the multiplication of the previous two. Okay. At the May 17th date, we are paying $200. So what's going to happen to my balance? We're going to subtract. It's going to go down. I'm going to owe less. So I'm going to subtract off the 200 from the 728 to give me 528.36. All good? Okay, good deal. How many days am I going to stay at the 528.36 until the next event happens? 13 days. Because everybody understand where the days are coming from. Okay, 13 days from May 17th to May 30th, 13 days. And then we're going to multiply those two values together. So the 528.36 times the 13. What's that one give me?
6,868.68.
Lots of sixes and eights. Indeed. Okay, pretty good? Okay, lovely. All right, and then we're going to go to dinner. And at dinner, we're going to charge $46.11 to our card. So what are we going to do with the $46.11? Right, we're going to add it to the $528.36. Okay, so $528.36 plus my $46.11. What will that give me? Okay, so this first column that I'm doing is what it looks like in your checking account. Every time you go in and you see a charge made or a payment made, in addition, addition to your account, if you put cash in or a check in, or you take money out for something, right? This is just the ups and the downs, right? That's all it is. And then how many days is it going to stay at that 574 number? 3 or 4? Which one is it? It's 4. How come? It's 31 days in May. So we do have to pay attention to what month we're in. You do need to be careful about that. If that's something that you tend to forget, you might want to write that into your notes. I don't know what you want to do about that, but I just remember 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. That's what I do. You can do a thing on your hands. You guys seen that before? There's one with that. Whatever it takes. But you need to know how to get the number of days for the month. Otherwise, your calculations are going to be slightly enough off that they're going to give you wrong answers. It is 4 days. There are 4 days from May 30th to June 3rd. And then I need 574.47 times 4. Excellent. Okay, everybody good so far? Okay. Now, we're going to go to the theater. Or at least we're going to buy the theater tickets at that point. So on the theater tickets are $64.50. What will I do with the $64.50? Add it to the $574.47. And what will that give me? Uh-huh. 97. Yeah, 638.97. How many days is it going to stay at 638.97? 6. Where did you get 6? You're right.
The next billing date is the 9th.
The next billing date is the 9th. How do I know that? Because it was the 9th the month before. Everybody with me? Whatever the billing date is, it's going to continue to be that billing date in future months as well. So yes, it'll be the 9th. So this will be 6 days that it will sit at the 638.97. So we're going to multiply one more time. The 638.97 times my 6. What will that give me? Excellent. Everybody good so far? You're going to create a chart. Every time you do one of these for a credit card, you're going to create a chart just like this. They're going to have all the same details we just did. Okay? So as you do the first one, you might want to go back and listen to just this part of how we're walking through this if you get some of the numbers are not working out for you, right? And remind yourself, oh yeah, that's right, we did it like that, okay? All right, what we do next is we add up all 4 of those numbers that are in the thousands on the balance times days column. So I want you to add those up. So 58.2688, 68.68, and so forth down. We're going to add them together. What are you going to get? What'd you get, Emma?
18,827.
That's what I have written down as well. Okay, does everybody have that? Now, we do not owe $18,000. That's not what that quantity found for us. But what we can do is we can divide that number by the number of the days in the month to find out how much we had that we owed on average throughout the month. Right? Imagine you did this. Okay, so different scenario. Imagine you were trying to count the calories you're eating every day. And you counted this number of calories on Monday and this number of calories on Tuesday and this number of calories on Wednesday. And you did this for a week. And you added them all together. Like, that's how much you would have eaten throughout the week. And if you divided it by 7, it'd be the average calories you had per day. That's what we're doing here. We're finding out the average amount that we owed per day for our credit card. So we're going to take that 18,827.26, and we're going to divide it by 31. Why is it 31? 31 days in May. So make sure you're paying attention to which month you're in. And if we divide this, and we'll round to the 2 decimal places because we're dealing with many, what do we get for our average daily balance? Okay, Emma, you're on the spot again.
607.8.
That's what I have. Okay, does everybody have 607.33? Okay, so that should be reasonable. Like the answer you get right here, if you look back up at your values and you go, okay, 728, 528, 574, 638, 607 seems reasonable, doesn't it? If you got a number that was too large or too small, you should register. There's something wrong with this number. It's way big, it's way small, it doesn't make sense for my values. This makes sense. So intuitively, it makes sense. The monthly finance charge. Okay, so let me flip back over here. I talked about monthly finance charge. What is the monthly finance charge in this account? What's it say?
200.
Nope. It's a percentage. We're looking for the percentage. It's the 1.3%. Okay, 1.3% per month. And all of us look at that and say, 1% is not very much, but it's per month, right? So if you wanted to know what that is per year, which is how we normally do percentage rates, you'd have to multiply it by 12 to find out the yearly value that this is, okay? But we want to know the monthly finance charge. So we take the average daily balance that we just found, 607.33, and we're going to multiply it by the monthly finance charge as a decimal. So what is 1.3% in its decimal form? 0.013. Okay, so let's find 607.33 times 0.013. What do you get? It's a dollar amount, so I put the dollar sign.
7.89.
I have 0.90.
Oh, yeah, no.
Does it round up? Okay. So just FYI, my math lab will give a level of accuracy differential usually, but not always. So on your quizzes and your exam, I'll go back and make sure that if you're within a reasonable number of a decimal point, it makes sense. But we're going to try as much as we can to be accurate. So $7.90. So when it asks for the account balance on June 9th on C, what happens is it takes the final amount we owed, that was my $638.97, that's where we left it, and it adds on the finance charge that we just calculated. Okay, the average amount was used to find the finance charge, but it's not what we actually owe, right? It's an average. So when we're looking at part C here, we're going to take the $638.97 from our table. We're going to add the finance charge of $790 to it, and we will end up with $646.87. And that's the bill that we would then receive in the mail the following month. Okay? So here's the deal. What we just did is what is automatically done within your credit card company, if you have a credit card and you have rollover amounts that you're owing every month. It calculates it just like this. It's not a mystery. It's not magic. there's a calculation. It's mathematics, right? It's a mathematics that's going on behind the scenes.